As cities grow and the demand for building rises, the environment sometimes pays the price. From energy consumption to waste generation, construction of buildings contribute heavily to carbon emissions, about 40% of the world's carbon emissions. But some organizations are changing that narrative. The Philippine Green Building Council, or PhilGBC, is driving sustainable practices in the property sector, helping projects and developers embrace green building standards that are good for the planet and for the people. We continue to feature companies and organizations that champion sustainable initiatives. Welcome to CEStainability. Every building tells a story, and for PhilGBC, it's one of responsibility, innovation, and impact. And to talk more about this, we're joined by the CEO of PhilGBC, Christopher de la Cruz. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you, Ces, for inviting us to share some of our ideas for the built environment.
Yeah. So the Philippine Green Building Council is the one responsible for certifying buildings as berde-certified.
Yes.
Tell us more about this certification process, and ilan bang buildings dito sa Manila or sa
In the
metropolis?
Philippines, yes.
Oh, sa Philippines.
Yes.
Are certified as green.
Okay, a quick background on the certification process. The name of the system is Verde, Building for Ecologically Responsive Design Excellence. Most people are wondering, why do we have to develop Verde here in the Philippines? As we all know, here in the Philippines, in the absence of anything local, we use American. When I studied architecture, we study US standards, and that always has been the norm. When we started, the LEED rating system is starting to permeate industry, and it's being used. And we established the council in 2007, and one of the major areas of discussion was whether or not we should develop our own standards for use in the Philippines.
LEED is the US standard.
LEED is the US standard.
LEED. You see that, no? In
yes,
buildings.
you also see that in the Philippines. It's also developed by a Green Building Council, the US Green Building Council, and Verde is developed by the PhilGBC. What most people don't realize was, as early as 2002, through support of USAID, we had a study tour. We went to Chicago at the time, and we studied the possibility of adopting these practices here in the Philippines. We assembled stakeholders in the space, and we decided to develop our own scheme. That is the most interesting part. We realized that there's a lot of local practices that has to come into play, and we have to respect our own regulations. This led to us developing our own scheme and doing our own certification process.
Which is just as good, or if not better.
Well, it's not an issue.
What's the difference?
Yes, that's the key word. It's not an issue of which is better, but we have to recognize that they are different for a reason. We develop our own scheme because we have regulations that is quite unique for the Philippines.
Yeah, what are some of those
For
examples?
example, when it comes to the local governments, we have special regulations developed by local government. Meron tayong local government code. They have the power to create regulations specific to their
It can
jurisdictions.
differ from one place
If
to
we
another.
have our own, we can actually tailor fit the standard to fit local jurisdictions. We did that in Cebu as early as 10 years ago. It was adopted in Mandaue City.
I think they're stricter.
And in Pasig.
They're more
Yes.
stringent. They want
Yes.
they want to build a reputation as a green city, no?
Yes. And this is actually advantageous to cities. We actually invite foreign investors to our country, and when we want this to happen, we have to keep in mind, global companies, when they go to your country, they bring with them their environmental mandates. And these
So
things
they
that-
will only locate
Yes.
where in a place that is
actually supports
sustainable.
their ideals.
Yeah, right.
So with our own system in place, aligned with global ideals, but the execution, of course, is local, this actually supports foreign investment. So we get to see areas in the Philippines where there is increased investments. Nice story.
Ilan na ba ang berde-certified?
Well, right this very
Unang-una.
moment, we're working on 97, 98 buildings. It's not much, I have to admit, but I think the
Since
seeds...
2007?
Yes, the seeds are planted and hopefully we get to see more. But what I am most inspired with is when we start seeing the small and medium-sized enterprises
Wanting
also getting certified. Before kasi it's a big company thing, but seeing government also getting certified, seeing small and medium...
Government?
Yes, small
Like,
and...
who's the first?
The first was LLDA. We saw Central Bank, the Senate of the Philippines.
Really?
We have registrations
which
from
one? Not
The
the new
new?
building.
the new
The new
building.
The new building?
The new building.
Is berde-certified?
For design pa lang. It's not yet done, but we're still awaiting completion of the building so we can also certify the build. But of course, we get to see the right things being put in place and hopefully we get to see them follow through. And they actually have a higher rating. It's 4 stars and they're shooting for 5 stars.
Okay,
for
tell us
the
about
build.
this net zero energy. How are we achieving that?
Okay, 2 things. When we build our buildings, whenever we use electricity and also there's the electricity and the energy and water nexus, we create actually emit a lot of carbon. And also, what we mostly not think about is materials before it reaches our job site. When it's manufactured, they're also emitting carbon. So we're talking of embodied carbon and operating carbon. In the past few years, we've been focused largely on looking at certifying net zero operational carbon. In the coming months, we
So
are...
operational pa lang, not
Operational
yet
pa lang,
materials.
yes. Because the challenge is we need to create our database for embodied carbon of the different materials. While there are information used globally, yung transportation still not taken into
Right.
consideration. We need to create, to build a lot more know-how. But we had to start somewhere. Before, the thinking was, we can't do it because we don't have data. So the question was, so what is the data that we have? And we start from there.
Net Lima is net zero.
Oh, yes.
All the NEO buildings.
All the new buildings,
in
all 7
BGC
buildings, the whole...
are
Really?
are
Yes,
certified
yes.
by EDGE of
And-
the IFC
Yes.
as net,
Net
zero.
zero.
Yes.
Even the power, kasi it's from geothermal. It's from
Wow.
Aboitiz Energy geothermal.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you charge your electric car there, it's you're using talagang zero carbon emission kasi yung electricity galing.
Nila is actually
Yeah.
green power.
Yeah.
And what most people
Not
don't
fossil.
realize is,
Yes.
even before the standardization for charging stations, we don't have registered EVs yet. The buildings of NEO already has charging stations.
Yeah,
They were
actually.
first movers.
Yeah, pero
first movers.
they had and no one was parking there.
Yes,
They
but,
were
but
ahead of their
yes,
time.
but it stimulates conversation at the time. The question
Right.
was, why are we doing this? We don't have electric vehicles. But because it's a chicken and egg problem,
Yeah.
no?
Pero
People would
ngayon,
say, yes,
ang hirap
Ngayon,
naman
oo,
mag-charge.
charge doon, punuan.
and they have a charging station. That's the beauty of it. So before, who's charging? Now, where do we charge?
Yeah.
And at least we now show people na, oh, this is how we do it in green buildings.
Chris,
Yes.
ang common perception is mahal magpa-certify. Mahal nga ba? I mean, if you're a developer, you're a building
Yeah.
owner.
That's an interesting observation. Also, interesting chismis, if I may use the term. Typically, a build now, cheapest I've heard, 45,000 per square meter, and it goes up. Sometimes we hear 150,000 per square
Hindi
meter.
totoo yun.
That's the build. You know how much we charge for certification? 60 pesos per square meter. It can be as low as that. If we're charging 79.85 pesos per square meter, mahal na yon. There are special circumstances already. So you
Pero
tell
kung
me, you tell me
times mo yun.
kung mahal ba yun. I don't think that's
60,
mahal.
pero
yes.
sa
Yes.
times mo ng ilang square meters.
Yes.
kung-
It's a building. Oh, yeah.
Oo.
Well, if
Ano
you
din.
look at...
But what's the reward? Sige na nga.
Okay.
What's the reward of being
Berde-certified.
berde-certified? And also, sorry, in answering na rin
Yes,
that question,
yes.
kasi alam mo, we're running, we want to fill up the time as much
Okay.
as we can.
All right.
Ayan, nalimutan ko tuloy. Ano, Can old buildings still, yung hindi mo pa tinatay, ay yung natayo na, can
Yes.
they still be Verde
Okay,
certified?
I'll try to
Sige.
go through this in one go. No? NEO has old buildings and new buildings. We're in the oldest building. It's actually the first building in Fort Bonifacio. It's certified under net zero, under the Verde rating system, and under our health and well-being system. It can be certified. No? It's a thing. No? If the management is willing, it can be done.
Okay.
Now, in terms of is it difficult, is it expensive, and what are the benefits? Tell you what, sometimes we go out with friends, we meet them for a cup of coffee. We go to a 3-star place, the coffee's nice. We go to a 5-star place, the coffee's still nice, and we're wondering, coffee is good in both places, but one is 5-star, one is 3-star. We're paying for the uniform of the waiter, the Murano chandelier, the carpet. We're paying for luxury. Now, imagine a world where you get to put a rating on sustainability. You enter a building, it's a 5-star green building. What's the reward? People support it if they're like-minded. No? If you ask people who had certified their projects under us, they can easily tell you they want to locate in our projects
Mas maraming tenants.
Yes, because we are a green building. You already mentioned, Neo, I'm not sure with the numbers, no, but from what I heard, industry occupancy rates, vacancy around 20% on average. Their vacancy is,
0.
no, 2%.
Okay.
That's a typical
Meaning
movement
it's
lang, no?
something that
That's what I heard, no?
it's,
but,
it's,
yeah.
it's like a magnet for...
Yes, it's a magnet. Of course, it's unfair to attribute it simply all to certification, but you know, it adds to your recipe of of success, no, in managing your portfolio.
Also, syempre baka if you're an old building, baka hindi ka pumasa. Paano ba 'yon?
Well,
Kasi madami kang kailangan baguhin, etc., etc.
Okay,
and
let-
Is it
Yeah.
worth all the trouble, diba?
let me tell you of a typical Filipino who inherited the property from their lolo. No? They had this 100-year-old home. They're going to put improvements. They're going to make it fit their modern living. Or they may have left it alone, pero may complain sila. I wish I did this, I wish I did that. It's the same with buildings. No? If the intention is to really be sustainable, there are ways. If the intention is to get it verified, we're there to support you. People are saying, do we really need to get certified? If you ask me, it's your own home, you made it sustainable, you don't need to prove it to anybody, you're just happy you have a sustainable home
yeah.
with healthy air, so on and so forth. But when you're in business, you need a referee. No? You need somebody telling
to say, you can't just
telling
claim
people
it.
who's going to lease your space. Oh, we had the third party to tell you that this is a green building, and that's a critical role that I think we play. And I think that contributes to the betterment of business practices here in the country.
And in your council, it's multidisciplinary, no? You have architects, iba-iba, they come from different fields.
It's an industry association. We are almost 400 companies strong. We have members who are developers, we have banks, we have power companies, we have architects, engineers, developers. Those who have interests in the property sector and who are like-minded, who wanted to promote sustainability in this space. They work together, they help create the standards, they share information among one another to propel business forward towards sustainability.
Chris, if you were to make sustainability more understandable, it can be very abstract concept. Paano mo ipapaliwanag?
My story never changed in the past 20 years. I told them when I was starting out, how do I explain this to a 5-year-old? So I asked, my daughter was 4 years old, 5 years old at the time, and I asked her, where do you think chickens come from? From the supermarket. That's what she said. And then it made me wonder, one day kids will not have the privilege of falling down from a tree. And that is a story that we need to share to industry. There are things about the environment which we take for granted, but at some point, we have to realize that this is a legacy that we have to pass on. Regardless of business that we're in, we may be in manufacturing, construction, there are ways for us to promote sustainability in the work that we do. Years ago, we did the study on shifting blue-collar work to green-collar work. So we trained architects to become green architects, engineers to be green engineers. We even had a campaign before on how to support masons to lessen the pollution that they create while they do their work. We did this in tests that
Naiintindihan ng masons.
in the beginning, it's quite challenging. In the beginning, they would see it's extra work. But at some point, sometimes when it's supported by management, it gets echoed in the workforce. Kasi there's also a business angle to it. It works, no? You have to keep trying.
I like that example. I laughed. Chickens are not from the supermarket. You have to go to a farm. Baka kung hindi tayo mag-iingat, wala nang mga farms.
Wala na. If you ask them, where do you think mangoes came from? No, they would say, oh, Cebu, it comes in little packets.
Dried.
Dried mango.
Dried mangoes. So it may sound amusing, but at some point makes you
It's
wonder.
sad, yeah.
It's sad, no? If you look at, this is what we're looking at, if we are not going to protect the environment and create ways on how to share this know-how to society at large.
To the
This is
next
our
generation,
contribution
yeah.
for industry, and hopefully it gets to cascade to the rest of society.
Thank you so much, Chris.